So hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I'm delighted to be joined by my friend Gary, and you may have seen some of Gary's incredible Marvel Comics collection before on the channel, and this time we got something rather special. He's come round with all his first edition Marvel Comics and also first appearance collection, and there's loads to look at, so I can't wait to get stuck in. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Right then, so hi Gary, thanks for coming back.
Okay, no, good to see you again, Jules.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
You did your Marvel fan club stuff.
Yeah.
But this time then, you brought around your collection of number ones and first appearances, yeah? For your Marvels.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So I thought what we'd do is frame it as in the origins of Marvel Comics, the history of Marvel Comics. We'll look at all the Marvel number ones and the major first appearances from the 60s up until the end of the Silver Age, and
fantastic.
Also have a look at some 50s number ones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I know you've been into comics and had a shop for many years.
It's true, yeah.
And I'm confident you're going to see some comics here that you've never seen.
I'm sure you're
before.
right, yeah, absolutely. Particularly the 50s ones, yeah, absolutely. Well, this one, of course, is a hardback. Now, this is a reprint of the very first Marvel comic.
It is, yeah. Marvel has its origins in 1939.
Yeah.
When a publisher, Martin Goodman, he realised that comics were doing well for other companies, and especially DC's fledgling superheroes.
Oh, yes, indeed,
and he decided he wanted a piece of the action himself.
Right.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching,
And so he published Marvel Comics number one.
And that's, so this is like a reprint of that.
It is, yeah.
First appearance of the Torch. And who's this chap then? Carl Burgos.
Yeah, well, he was the artist writer of the Human.
He wrote and drew it then.
Human Torch.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This was all put together by freelancers.
Okay.
At the time, there was a company, Funnies Inc. I think they were called.
Okay, yeah.
And you could literally go to them and commission them to do some stories.
Right.
And so that's what Martin Goodman done, and the published Marvel Comics
number one. So that and they introduced the first ever Human Torch.
That's right, yeah.
How fantastic.
A slightly different character. He's actually an android.
Oh, okay.
In that, but you can see the follow-on into the Johnny Storm
era
of the Fantastic Four, the Human Torch character to we know.
It's quite nice, this graphic novel, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Here's Submariner. Right. Yeah. Okay. Was this also in Marvel number one?
That is a reprint of Marvel Comics number one.
Right, so the whole thing, so Submariner was in there as well. Right, I see. Okay.
By Bill Everett.
Now, he did it for ages, didn't he?
He did. He was doing it. Obviously, he'd gone away and came back, but he was doing it in the 70s. He was still doing Submariner.
I do like this Submariner. What a great character. I don't think I've ever read this very first one before. Obviously, these Golden Age ones, the artwork is far more primitive than what we're used to.
It is, yeah.
We'll see it progress through the years, won't we?
Oh, very much so, yeah.
The Masked Raider, okay.
I mean, a lot of the artists we got to know into the Silver Age, they were all Golden Age artists, and you probably wouldn't recognise
their style.
The difference. You see early John Romita in... even Jack Kirby.
Jack Kirby, that's it. Boy Commandos.
That's right.
And Adventures of Kazar.
Kazar, yeah. I mean, Kazar is probably Marvel's first superhero.
Right, okay.
If you could call a Tarzan knockoff a superhero. Because he had appeared in, as I say, Martin Goodman was a publisher of pulp magazines, men's magazines, and Kazar had appeared several years before in his pulp magazine. So
right, so he knew the character.
Yeah, so you could say Kazar was Marvel's first hero.
Superhero, yeah. So after Marvel Comics number one, we had a few more key issues, yeah?
Well, that's right, yeah.
And I'm sure you, what was it? So we had that. What came next then?
Yeah, Marvel Comics was really popular, did really well for Martin Goodman.
Yeah.
Apparently he published 80,000. It sold out so fast.
Of this one, yeah?
Of that one.
Right, okay,
he went back and did a second printing of 800,000.
Blimey.
And that sold out as well.
Oh, amazing.
So Martin then, he quickly he quickly went and acquired the rights to the characters, the Human Torch and Submariner. He started producing comics with those characters, funny animal characters. He then went and hired a couple of people, including Joe Simon, who you've probably heard of.
Yeah.
And Joe Simon quickly went out and got his working partner, Jack Kirby, along. And together they produced, probably the most famous comic they produced was Captain America.
Right, okay. So that was Captain America Comics?
Captain America Comics, yeah. Right, number one came out in, cover dated March 1941.
Wow, okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so all winners, Young Allies, Millie the Model, Patsy Walker.
Yeah.
It was ever expanding in the 40s.
Yeah.
Martin's empire. He also went along at the same time and he hired a young teenager, Stanley, basically to be a dog's body, running around and fetching more or less a gopher for Simon and Kirby.
I see, right, wow.
So...
fantastic. So what's next then? What is the next one you've brought to us?
The superheroes were proving very popular, but Martin branched out, as we said, into other Millie the Model, Patsy Walker. And in the 40s, 50s, and even into the 60s, we know Westerns were very popular.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So Martin branched out into Westerns. Now here we've got Two Gun Kid #1 from 1948. This particular one. Also at the time he released, in August 48, he released Kid Colt.
All right,
Again, two characters which we know
went on
even into the Bronze Age of comics.
Wow, yeah, fantastic. And like you say, Westerns was a big thing, wasn't it, back then?
It was.
It was right into, I suppose, the late 50s, early 60s, wasn't it? It was Western.
Very big, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. And then
another genre was very big in comics were horror comics.
Yeah.
Now here we've got a copy of Strange Tales #1.
Wow. Okay.
From June 1951, or cover dated. I mean, you can see the throwaway nature of comics. There's not even a number.
Yeah.
There's not even a number on it.
Yeah.
So,
wow. That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. That's the first time I've seen one of them in the flesh. So. Oh, fantastic. Lovely.
Then in the early 50s, Martin set up his own distribution company to distribute his magazines and his comics, and they were called Atlas Comics. And his comics from thereafter, they were known as Atlas Comics.
It's got a little Atlas
and we can see,
sign there.
this is Patsy and Hetty #1.
Right.
Again, no number.
No.
From 1953. But as you say, we can see the little Atlas logo.
Wow.
Perhaps I should have said previous to this, they were the comics company was known as Timely.
Timely Comics.
Timely Comics.
I see that's Al Jaffe. Didn't he go on to Mad magazine?
He did. Yeah,
I recognise the name.
He was.
I didn't know he did these.
Yeah, big contributor to
Atlas,
to the teen humour or whatever you like, you like to call them at Marvel. Yeah.
I like the cover. It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. Never seen that one. That's another one new on me. Yeah.
You'll see the same joke used again.
All right. Okay.
Different art, but the same joke you'll see again. Unfortunately, one I haven't got is in the horror line is Journey into Mystery #1 came out in again in 1952.
Wow, yeah, very, very tough to find, of course, yeah. Absolutely. Even more, so many of these are hard anyway, but then trying to find them in the UK, it's an extra level of difficulty.
Well, that's right. I mean, they were actually post-war in the UK. Imports were actually banned to protect British industry. So no comics, I think it was 1958.
All right.
They started to relax, and it wasn't until, say, the very late 50s that we were even allowed to import comics
crazy, isn't it?
into this country. That's why you're probably familiar with all the black and white reprints.
That's it, of the Marvel
comics. Next one we're going to see is 93 Patsy and her Pals #1.
I'm going to start a second pal so we can have a look at two lots on the screen at once. But yeah, Patsy and her Pals. Okay. And is this the same character again, is it?
It's Patsy Walker, yeah. Again, Patsy Walker, a character which is became Hellcat later on.
Right, yeah.
Still going today. She appeared in the Netflix Jessica Jones series.
That was her, right? I see.
That was Patsy Walker.
Of course, yeah. So, blimey, yeah. I like that Jessica Jones. Hoping for a revival. For a revival.
Well, they're doing Disney are doing the new Daredevil, which the trailers look really good. Looks like they're following on from the Netflix,
which is good.
So that looks promising. Another genre is war.
Marines in Battle.
Marines in Battle #1. So perhaps we should say people who like to see 9.8 slabs should look away now.
It's true. Yeah. These are just copies, but at least they're originals.
It is, yeah. As you say, these comics, they're impossible. Not impossible, but
unless you're very wealthy, it's hard to get a high grade.
To get in the UK. As well, pre-internet, as well, absolutely. Which a lot of my collection was built
back in the
day. It wasn't a case of what can I afford. It's what might I find. Yeah, what will I find?
Yeah, I know. I'm with you there. So that was Marines in Battle, and then we got. Now I obviously recognise that name, Rawhide Kid.
Rawhide Kid, Rawhide Kid #1 from 1955.
Wow, who's the cover artist?
That's Joe Manley, I think he's pronounced his name.
Right.
We'll come to him
a bit later.
Okay. But he was a very prolific artist for Marvel.
He shares his saddle with danger. Poor guy.
Again, as you say, the character's gone into the Bronze Age. Well, even they've done mini-series in the modern age, haven't they, of Rawhide Kid?
They have.
Totally different character, really.
Right,
to what we see.
Yeah.
To what we see.
But once again, cashing in on the Western TV boom of the time, I suppose, and movies.
That's right, yeah.
It's hard to envisage, 70, 80 years ago, how big Westerns were.
They were everywhere,
absolutely everywhere. And it's reflected in all media, films, books, comics, magazines, bubblegum cards, the works,
No, I can remember when I was a little kid, and sort of every Christmas you'd get a cat revolver or a cat rifle in a cowboy outfit or a cavalry outfit or an Indian outfit.
And there were still reruns running on TV of stuff like, I don't know, Champion the Wonder Horse and Bonanza and things like that. Yeah,
I see Bonanza started again
has it?
Recently.
They revived it.
Yeah. Well,
or they're
reshowing it. Yeah. And I think I saw the High Chaparral the other day as well. So,
who could believe it? Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, back in 1954, a psychiatrist, Frederick Wortham. He published a book called Seduction of the Innocent. Which he basically blamed all America's ills on comic books.
And particularly those EC ones, wasn't it? He was definitely against them.
They were quite graphic, some of
they were. I mean, they really
the
were,
horror ones, and even some of the bondage scenes on there. Of course, there is a genre of collecting now. People try to collect all the books mentioned in Seduction of the Innocent.
Yeah, they're the best ones.
So, comics, a lot of comic companies went out of business at the time. But Comics' answer to that was to introduce the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah, okay.
And what we see on Marvel's next effort, Wyatt Earp #1 from 1955, just a few months after the Rawhide Kid, we see the
approved by the Comic Code. Yeah, and there is very, very big as well.
Yeah,
really, there, bold and proud. Yeah, and yet another Western character. Yeah,
and another Joe Manley. Cover.
Right, I see, Oh, fantastic.
We mentioned the Comics Code Authority. I doubt this one would be allowed in modern days. But the yellow claw.
See, that was approved back then, but very
probably
much politically incorrect now.
Incorrect nowadays.
Yeah.
The character himself, Yellow Claw, he continued on into the Silver and the Bronze Age, and he was a a Shield, Enemy of Shield, Captain America, and the Master of Kung Fu comics as well. He appeared in.
Yeah, Yellow Glove, brilliant. So, wow, incredible, nice. Yeah, another one I've never seen before. And then we got a date with
another one. You can see the how popular they were with Marvel. The teen humour,
absolutely,
dumb blonde type of.
That's it.
Magazines, as I say, a date with Patsy, #1. Although this was a one-shot, whether it was whether it was intended to be, like or whether
maybe a test bed or something. Yeah, I suppose around this time would they have had the Archie comics and stuff at this point?
Archie would have been going. Yeah, I mean Archie were really big. Yeah,
that's their sort of market, wasn't it? This, so maybe they were trying to get a little bit of that sort of teen audience,
and especially when we see the old Joffrey art, I mean that's very reminiscent of Archie style.
Very much so, yeah.
Dan DiCarlo, who we mentioned in one of our other videos, looking at Millie the model.
Yeah.
What we should point out now is, so we've just seen that comic from 57. In 57, 58, became what is now known as the Marvel implosion.
Right. Okay.
Although they weren't actually called Marvel at the time. Whereas Martin Goodman, he decided to wind up his Atlas distribution company, and he would have gone with American News Distribution. But unfortunately, not long after he'd signed up with them, they went out of business, and he was lost for a distributor for his comics.
Right.
Now, he eventually signed up with Independent News, who were co-owned by the same company who owned DC Comics.
Right.
Now, whatever the reason, probably because they didn't want a rival to DC, they limited how many comics Martin Goodman was allowed to distribute with them.
Right. Yeah.
So, as we've seen, Marvel were churning out #1s after #1s. Once they signed the new distribution deal, they were only allowed to produce 8 comics per month. You see the numbers of Marvel comics going right down. Very important in the origins of Marvel Comics, but unfortunately in June 1958, Joe Manley, who we've mentioned, he was a prolific artist for Marvel, probably their best and most prolific artist. He was also a close family friend of Stan Lee. He died in a subway accident.
All right, okay.
So that left Marvel without their most prominent artists.
Right.
A few days after he died, Jack Kirby walked in the door looking for work. Now, I'd like to think that Stan had phoned him, but Stan, by this time, Stan was in charge of Marvel Comics. I'd like to think that Stan had phoned up Jack. To me, there seems something a bit seedy if Jack had just read the obituaries and then just walked in looking for a job. However it happened, Jack Kirby walked in brimming with ideas for Marvel.
And that led to?
And that led to, unfortunately, #1 on my wants list.
Oh, right, okay.
There's a comic called Strange Worlds #1.
Strange Worlds #1, right.
With a December 1958 release date. And that was Jack Kirby's first work once he returned to Marvel.
Okay. Well, obviously, anything we haven't got, we'll illustrate with pictures as we go along. But okay, well, so anyone's got one of those for Gary, do give us a shout.
yes, please. Again, a very rare book in the UK. So next we come to
Tales of Suspense.
Tales of Suspense #1, January 1959.
Right.
Cover date. What you will see is the Atlas Globe is now gone. And Ind is starting to appear on there. So that is Independent News. So that's the distributor.
I see.
Round about this time, Martin Goodman was starting to put a little MC logo, Marvel Comics logo.
I see.
Which we'll see in a few books as we go on. So they were, at the time, I believe, in the industry, they were known as Martin Goodman's company or Stan Lee's company.
Right.
They weren't actually known as Marvel at the time, although he was starting to brand them that way.
Fair enough. Well, okay, I'm going to put that over here.
The next one we'll look at is the sister magazine, Tales to Astonish #1.
Now, that is looking a bit... Is that Steve Ditko?
I think that's a Kirby.
Oh, it's Kirby still, is it? Yeah, okay. Steve Ditko had joined Marvel round about 1955.
he'd come out of art college.
All right, so he's still a bit young.
And, and he'd unfortunately contracted tuberculosis, so he went home, recovered, and then came back and started working for Stan Lee at Marvel Comics, doing what we know, the little horror and mystery,
the backups, and
four-parters.
Yeah, lovely, nice perspective on that cover. Yeah. Good stuff. Excellent. Okay, and then so another romancy one.
We're back to the teen humour, Kathy. If you notice, it's the same joke.
Oh yeah, so it is, but now down to 5 cents, not even 25. Yeah, they've just regurgitated it, reused it.
Yeah, new art. So artist Stan Goldberg, he did a lot of this type of art for Marvel.
Right. Fantastic. So
Millie the model.
Yeah.
As we'll see with the next one, they keep coming.
Is. Yeah, A Date with Millie.
A Date with Millie.
Yep. Wow. So is this what Millie the model became, or was that a separate title?
No, it's a spin-off title. Millie the model. In fact, Millie the model says one of Marvel's very earliest comics, and it was once it started at #1, it carried on again into the Bronze Age, didn't it?
On and on.
Millie the model. Yeah, there was a number of spin-off titles. We see A Date with Millie, but then they kept changing the name. There was A Date with Millie, Modelling with Millie, Life with Millie.
and all tough to find, because they weren't really saved, I suppose. Like the superhero stuff was saved.
That's right, yeah. And again, very few, certainly not this era, but very few of them ever came to the UK distributed.
Absolutely, I can remember in the 90s going. Yeah. Oh, well, we went to New York, didn't we? And I'd been there before, and I had your wants list of all this obscure stuff.
All the romance comics,
They were like, what does he want all this for? And it was all for you, Gary, So.
And of course, with them being so scarce in the UK, even the ones which did turn up, people wouldn't want one issue or things.
That's true, It's
not like if most of the runs come across and there's a few not distributed, people will go and seek them.
Yeah.
But when it's the other way round, people just don't, in this country, people just don't seek them out, do they?
Okay, so 2 new editions here. Rawhide Kid number 17.
Yeah.
So what's special about that then?
Well, no, we've moved into 1960 now.
Oh, okay.
And we've got 2 comics here which have got a claim to be the first Marvel comic.
Okay, right.
Rawhide Kid, number 17.
Yeah.
We saw number 1 earlier. It was stopped at number 16.
Right.
But then restarted again at number 17 several years later.
Okay.
The claim to fame of this particular comic is it's the first ongoing character which Stan Lee and Jack Kirby worked on.
Right.
So an easing into what was to come
later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Amazing Adventures number 1. That is in there. Jack Kirby introduces a character called Dr. Droom.
Dr. Droom.
Dr. Droom, who was later renamed Dr. Druid.
Oh, okay.
And he, in the more modern age, he actually became a member of the Avengers. You might remember him. He's a sorcerer type of character. So perhaps a forerunner, you could say, of Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
But again, I say a claim. He was an ongoing character in Amazing Adventures.
Yeah.
Although it only lasted 6 issues in that guise. But say a claim to be Marvel's first comic. We then skip to 1961.
Okay.
November 1961, when Marvel released Fantastic Four number 1. Now, this is what most people consider the first Marvel comic.
Yeah.
And you will see the logo on there now.
MC.
That is starting to appear on most
of the line.
Most comics. No.
Yeah, there it is. And well, that was the birth, wasn't it? You know, like you say, widely regarded as the start of the Marvel.
It is, yeah. Certainly the start of the Marvel age.
Yeah.
Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, as most issue 1s
were
at the time.
Absolutely classic, yeah.
Marvel's next hero, or hero to be in this case probably, Tales to Astonish 27.
Yeah.
released or cover dated January 1962, is The Man in the Anthill. This introduces Henry Hank Pym, later to become Ant-Man, a stalwart of the Marvel Empire.
Marvel Universe, yes, indeed, brilliant.
A few months later, they in Tales of Suspense, they actually released a story with a character, the Man in the Beehive.
Right.
So whether there was ever any intentions to give Bee-Man a tryout or...
Bee-Man, Bumblebee Man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Probably they just took the name from that, and they were probably looking for anything which could spin off.
Brilliant. And then we got the Hulk. Yeah,
next character.
Over here. The Hulk.
Next character, the Hulk. Number 1.
Yeah.
May, cover dated. When talking months, it'll all be cover date.
Yeah.
As we know, they came out 3 months prior to the cover date. But May 1962, first Hulk. As we see there, he's grey.
He is indeed, yeah.
The grey only lasted for the first issue. Apparently, Marvel thought it was too difficult to get the tone consistent.
That's interesting.
So they just changed the colour to green in issue 2. No word of explanation or anything. He just
no
turned up.
Notice.
No, he just turned up. Yeah, green. So as people do.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Yeah, lovely key book.
Yeah. Next one to show, not the first issue, but the reintroduction of the Submariner.
Submariner, yes, indeed.
Who we noted at the very beginning.
Yeah.
His first appearance in Marvel Comics number 1 way back 1939.
And this was his Silver Age revival then.
That's right, yeah. You see his red trunks.
Yeah.
His first appearances, for some reason, he had red trunks. We see the MC logo still there. Marvel's next character.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah.
Thor. Introduced in Journey into Mystery 83.
Yeah.
August 1962.
Another great comic.
Yeah. Again, Lee and Kirby.
Yeah.
As nearly all their major characters were. I mean, my own opinion is that they were created by Kirby, polished by Stan.
Right, I see. Yeah, fair enough.
But other people have different ideas.
Yeah, of course.
Some think Stan did it all, others think Kirby did it all.
Right, it's probably a good combination.
Well, my own opinion is they wouldn't have existed without the three of them.
Yeah.
Lee, Kirby, Ditko.
Sure, yeah. Fair enough.
And talking of Ditko, the next comic we've got is Amazing Fantasy.
15.
15,
yeah.
August 62. A Jack Kirby cover.
Yeah.
But the inside's by Lee and Ditko.
Right. Very nice. Absolutely iconic.
Back when I started, I mean, this now is the key Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Back when I started, because there were more run collectors then, Amazing Spider-Man #1 was more sought after
it's interesting,
than Amazing Fantasy, and even Fantastic Four #1 was more sought after.
Absolutely, I remember those days. Yeah, I remember going with our friend George up to one of the London Comic Cons, and there was one dealer. He had 2 or 3 Amazing Fantasy 15s just flicking through the box, £150 each.
Yeah.
So they were the days.
Yeah, I can remember seeing one £85 in, from memory, slightly different, slightly better grade than that one I've got there now.
I can remember seeing one of these when Virgin were doing comics, and I think Duncan McAlpine's company had a little franchise inside the Virgin Megastore in Oxford Street, and they had one of those for 80 quid. Like framed up.
Oh, right,
80 quid, yeah. Once again, late 80s, that was.
I can remember buying that, I think 150 I paid for that one.
Yeah, it was a shrewd investment.
Is there anything on the back of the... There you go.
Yeah, in fact, Stateside Comics. That was them, wasn't it? That was Duncan's firm.
Yeah, £150.
£150. Hot. First Thor. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That was a shrewd investment there. Yeah, you did well there, Gary.
Yeah. We said earlier 9.8 people look away now.
Don't look. Yeah.
Look away now. Yeah. The next one I've got is Tales to Astonish. 35 September 1962.
Yeah.
Where the man in the anthill is brought back, but now as a superhero.
Right.
Ant-Man.
Yeah, perhaps not your best copy.
No.
But it is a copy.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. Yeah, in my book.
There's the odd flaw on that copy, isn't there?
Yeah, just
apart from a bit of trimming, a rolled spine, tape spine.
Yeah,
big writing on the cover.
Writing on the cover. Yeah. Apart from that, it's great and looks good in a bag.
Creature presents well.
It presents well. Awesome.
The next one I brought along. Not actually a first appearance, but the first solo Human Torch.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of. I mean, I think when I collected Strange Tales, I think this is my starting one. I think it was 101.
Yeah. Up until 100, they'd been all horror, mystery, stuff, monster, little short, 4 and 5 page stories. There are one or two in the back of that one as well. Again, to start off, Lee Kirby on the Torch with a bit of Ditko backup on there. Next one, to show the westerns haven't gone away.
Yeah.
Next one we've got is Two Gun Kid number 60.
Okay.
We looked at number 1 earlier. Again, that one, Two Gun Kid, the title continued through the Golden Age into the Silver Age, and then was revamped at issue 60.
Right.
So
it's like the first revived one.
Again, more or less a totally different character to what we saw in issue 1. Lee Kirby did the first few issues. He's more like a superhero in Western times in that one. He's got a secret identity and what have you.
Okay, so a couple of annuals.
Couple of annuals. I'm not going to show the annuals, other than to mention these two, because these were the first annuals Marvel did
ever produced. Okay.
So again, 1962.
Maybe the model annual.
Wow. I'm not sure why they chose not to use superheroes for their first annuals. They got the Strange Tales is all reprints. Of Lee Kirby, Ditko,
monster stuff,
monster short stories. Whereas the Millie that model is all new. All new.
So Spider-Man number 1, another really, really iconic book, and Tales of Suspense 39.
Yep, into March 19, cover dated March 1963. Now another 2 Marvel
key books,
key comics, key characters. Spider-Man had proved so popular and amazing fantasy that after they discontinued the title, they had to bring him back.
Had to bring him back, absolutely. Oh, incredible. And obviously Iron Man.
And Iron Man, another Kirby cover.
He's in his original grey suit as well, hasn't he?
The early days his suit changed quite a bit. The next, I think next issue he just sprayed it gold, but then
took it to the body shop.
He redefines it. Then almost every other issue nowadays, doesn't he?
Right. So, fair enough. Okay, it's a Sergeant Fury number 1. Right.
A different genre.
Yeah.
This was Marvel's first war book for several years. May 1963. Lee and Kirby.
Right. I suppose DC had a few military books, didn't they? Yeah.
Lee and Kirby had both been in the army during the war, although Lee remained stateside. Jack Kirby saw active service in Europe.
Oh, right, okay.
He not in the first wave, but he did land on the beaches of D-Day.
Right.
I say not in the first wave, but
on D-Day sort of thing. But
not D-Day, but
Wow, brilliant.
So probably something may have been close to their hearts, or may have been something difficult to write about. I don't know.
Well, what's next then?
Right, next one.
Another Strange Tales. Okay.
Strange Tales, although you can't see from the cover.
First Doctor Strange.
This is Strange Tales 110, July 63. The first Doctor Strange.
Lovely.
Lee and Ditko.
Inside, one of my favourite origins. I really love Doctor Strange.
Of course, the origin isn't in this.
Oh, that's true, issue. Actually. This is just the introduction.
The origin was in 115.
That is correct, When
you read editorial around about this time, Stan Lee was quite detrimental in his writings about the character of Doctor Strange.
All right.
And so you wonder if that's why he wasn't on the cover, that Stan just thought it was going to be a throwaway one issue. Don't know. Or
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we will probably never know.
And the next one we'll look at
another team, Avengers.
Is Avengers #1, March 1964.
Yeah.
Again, Lee Kirby. The story is that Marvel had been planning the Daredevil strip for several months.
Yeah.
But it kept being delayed.
All right.
Marvel were limited on how many magazines they could distribute. Yeah. Although the number over the years that started at 8, the number did seem to creep up and up.
Yeah.
So they had a slot, and the story is that Jack Kirby just knocked that out.
Really?
And whilst they were as a placeholder for Daredevil. Yeah. If you were a Marvel supporter or a Marvel fan, must have been a very good month, because in this very same month we get X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men #1.
Incredible. So many long-lived titles coming out in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really great.
Again, Lee Kirby. That's in my own opinion that most of these characters were created. The nuggets were from Kirby, so unsurprisingly, he's doing most of the first issues.
Yeah, yeah.
So, next one I thought we'd bring along is
Avengers #4.
Avengers #4. Just a few months later, March 1964. Covered out the reintroduction of Captain America.
There we are. Yeah.
As we said, Captain America was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby for Timely Comics back at the tail end of 1940.
Right.
First issue coming out 1941.
Yeah.
They'd had a tryout a couple of months before in Strange Tales with somebody dressed up as Captain Acrobat, dressed up as Captain America.
Yeah.
But this is his reintroduction.
Proper first appearance, yeah.
The next character, and probably the last of the iconic Marvel superheroes from Marvel's Silver Age, is Daredevil. Yeah. Daredevil #1 from April 1964. Stan Lee and Bill Everett. Yeah. Remember Bill Everett from the Submariner?
Yeah.
Again, who we saw in 1939.
Yeah.
Again, this was much delayed, and you'll notice the first few issues of Daredevil, they're all over the place with their artists.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently Bill Everett, who drew this, he was working a full-time job away from comics.
All right. Okay.
And couldn't really devote himself. So hence I said that the long delay. Perhaps all for the best. We might not have had the Avengers if he was working flat out.
One of your better condition keys, isn't it? That one.
It is, yeah.
Have you had that one long? Or was it just lucky at the time you got a nice one?
That's one I've upgraded.
Yeah, I was going to say Daredevil's always been one of your favourite characters.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the original Silver Surfer strip's probably my favourite title, but that was only 18 issues of the long-standing titles. I think Daredevil's been my favourite. Yeah. It's had great artists,
consistently good.
Wally Wood, who followed this, unfortunately was only there a short time. Wally Wood.
No, they're good issues.
John Romita then took over. Then Gene Colan, who's one of my favourites. We know in, I was going to say more modern times, but in the 80s, Frank Miller on there.
They were the first ones I ever read, and I just couldn't believe those. They're so good. But yeah, like you say, a consistently great run on Daredevil. Brilliant.
Next,
and another Tales to Astonish. Okay, these two side by side. So
put these two side by side,
they're like a double bill, aren't they?
Yeah.
Each one.
So we've got Tales to Astonish 60 from October 64, and the next month Tales of Suspense 59. This is the reintroduction of the Hulk. Yeah. In his own strip, his own title was cancelled after issue 6.
Yeah.
So he was reintroduced by Steve Ditko. Okay. Steve Ditko had drawn the last issue of the Hulk's own title. As you can see, sharing it with Giant Man. Yeah. Was Ant-Man. I think issue 50, he gets upgraded to Giant Man. But again, one of the long-standing heroes. Tales of Suspense, the Captain America's getting his own strip. Lovely. Sharing it with Iron Man, who we saw had been there since issue 37.
That's right, and that format in both these carried on for quite some time, didn't it? Yeah. Brilliant, lovely.
Yeah, Jack Kirby on the Captain America.
Right.
Captain America strip. Now the next one.
So this is the Marvel Tales annual number one.
That's right. Yeah, it's called an annual, but it wasn't really. It turned into an ongoing series, and this with a few edits, it reprints the first appearances of several of the Marvel characters.
Lovely.
This set a landmark for Marvel reprints. Reprints more and more became a thing in Marvel, and dedicated reprint titles.
Well, like Marvel Tales and Collector's Item Classics.
They were coming out the woodworks at one time, weren't they?
Well, I guess they're so easy to produce, you know.
That's it, and cheap.
And cheap, that's it, yeah. Just cheap
Marvel
and
Adventures, there were lots, weren't they?
Yeah.
Double Action.
Yeah.
I mean, these ones themselves, we look in there, Tales of Suspense. I mean, that format was put into a reprint Marvel double feature with half and half Captain America and Iron Man. I mean, one time they were reprinting virtually everything. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, there's evidently a demand for it and they were selling. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know when I was collecting, I mean, we'd missed all the 60s comics. And
it's the way to read them,
was great. Yeah, it was great to get a Marvel's greatest comics and read the early Fantastic Four. Yeah. Or as you say, Marvel Tales, read the early Spider-Mans.
That's it, yeah. Well, that was how I read those, I think, in comic book form originally. And a lot of them, anyway.
Yeah, and I know myself reading Marvel Tales and reading when they started redoing the Ditko ones. I mean, that spurred me on to go and get the original Spider-Mans. Next one to look at is another strange Tales.
Is this first Nick Fury?
This is the first, first Shield.
And that looks like Strenker?
No, this is Kirby. Yeah.
Although, I can see. But 135. Yeah, Strenker would come later. Yeah.
Doctor Strange is again. He continues.
He's still in there.
In there, but he.
Apart from his little face on there.
He never seemed to get a full cover, Doctor Strange. Whether it was something, that animosity between Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, or
who knows?
Whatever the reason, but he never seemed to get a full cover. We mentioned reprints.
We did.
This was
there it is.
Marvel's next venture into reprints.
Yeah.
Marvel Collector's Item Classics.
That's it, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, 4 issues in there.
Yeah. As Marvel Tales became the vehicle to reprint Spider-Man, that eventually would become the vehicle to reprint the Fantastic Four series. And the next one, that Marvel's next number one, is yet another reprint, Fantasy Masterpieces.
Right.
Now, the first issue reprints, lucky enough for us, it tells us what it does reprint.
Yeah.
But little monster horror science fiction stories by Kirby, Ditko and others.
All the good names, you
just noticed that Joey Sinnott.
Jovial Joey Sinnott,
But, issue 2, from issue 2 onward, I think it was issue 2 onwards, might be 3, they started reprinting Golden Age comics.
Yeah, okay. So here's a couple of lovely Fantastic Four comics.
Yeah, not number ones this time, but first appearances. Yeah. We got issue 48, first appearance of the Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Yeah.
And number 52, the first appearance of the Black Panther.
There we are, 2 great issues, I
mean, Kirby was in his pomp, and characters were coming out of him, and ideas coming out left, right, and centre. He must have been waking up in the middle of the night with another fantastic character or something, mustn't he?
Yeah, amazing.
But,
two lovely keys.
Yeah, 2 iconic characters.
Yeah.
And apparently the story goes with the Silver Surfer that Lee and Kirby had discussed the story line, and the pages turned up on Stan Lee's desk to put the words in, and the Silver Surfer had popped up. He knew nothing about it.
Oh, really?
Marvel's next number one, another reprint.
Yeah.
Marvel Superheroes number 1. Got Daredevil, the Avengers, and a Golden Age
Sub and Human Torch.
Human Torch in Submariner. This title would take over from the Fantasy Masterpieces numbering, and they would then bring in more or less like a spotlight sort of book with new characters for a bit, or new story ideas.
Yeah.
But the Golden Age reprints were backing it up.
Oh, lovely.
Marvel's next number 1, Ghost Rider. So this is this is February 1967.
Yeah.
Cover dated.
And this is the Western.
This is a Western, yeah.
So not the Ghost Rider on his bike that we're familiar with.
That's right, yeah. Nothing to do with Johnny Blaze or Danny Keach or whoever he is now. So Marvel's still into the, I say 60s, so, Western still
around,
still popular.
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent.
And Outbound Act. Now this was the humour one, wasn't it?
It is, yeah. A bit of a deviance.
So maybe because of like Mad Magazine was popular at this time.
Possibly, yeah.
But they're sending up the Marvel characters.
They are, yeah. Marie Severin did a lot of the strips in there. I think that looks like a Kirby cover, doesn't it? But we mentioned Marvel superheroes.
Yeah.
Just now started off as a reprint title, but with issue 12 it started to introduce some new characters. The first being the first Captain Marvel.
There he is,
by Gene Colan.
Right, yeah. Very nice.
As it says down here, it's got some Golden Age reprints.
All right, in there. Five all-time greats from the Golden Age. Yeah. Lovely. It's good that they're, because they would never have seen those. People reading the comics then.
No.
Unless they're really lucky and come across a stash of Golden Age comics.
I mean, I've been collecting about 50 years, in the amount of Golden Age comics I've seen, even very limited.
Few,
Say Marvel Comics #1, Captain America Comics #1. I've never even seen them.
No. So, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen those keys. Maybe at an odd show, but always priced out of our price range, Right, Captain Savage.
The next number 1, Captain Savage, #1. Bit of a Sergeant Fury type book.
Yeah. The Last Banzai. Okay. I guess he's on the Japanese islands.
January 1968.
All right.
We're up to now.
Wow.
What you'll find now is Marvel's contract with Independent was coming to an end.
Yeah.
And they negotiated to up their content, the number of titles they could do, and very shortly after that, they were Marvel itself was taken over. Martin Goodman sold the company. They got a new distribution company, Curtis, Curtis Circulation. You might be familiar with them from the black and white magazines. They used to put the logos.
There was Curtis Warren, wasn't there, as well? They did the Warren books.
But Curtis were Marvel's distributors.
I see. Right. Well,
so you can see we're still independent
at the moment.
On there, but you notice shortly, but they'll go to
start to change.
CC to Curtis.
Yeah.
But at this point, say 1968, the number of titles really ramped.
Right.
Really ramped up. The next one, March 1968, bit of an oddity.
Oh, yeah, groovy.
Yeah. It is a Marvel comic, although it doesn't say anywhere on there that it is. It only lasted 3 issues, and it wasn't until the 3rd issue that there was a Marvel logo on there.
Really? Yeah. Very, very scarce, I would imagine.
Perhaps we should have pointed out some time ago, we said about the branding. The first issues we saw like the little MC.
Yeah.
As of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man issue 2, Steve Ditko designed the
box,
the cover box, to brand all Marvel comics.
Oh yeah.
So
very nice.
The idea that when they were on the spinner rack or on the shelves in the shops, if you could just see that little strip, you could immediately see.
Go to your favourite hero.
It was a Marvel comic. Next, at this time, let's say Marvel, the number of titles really exploded.
Yeah.
And their anthology titles, which had 2 strips in one issue, they split all those out and they gave each each of the characters their own book.
Right.
So we find Captain America, he's taken the numbering on from Tales of Suspense.
Yeah.
Number 100, getting his own strip. And again, Hulk is taking on the numbering of Tales to Astonish.
Yeah.
And taking on his own strip, 102.
Brilliant. Very, very nice.
Only just noticed it myself. We've got the MCG logo on there as well on those ones.
Yeah.
So the other,
and then another one.
The other title to get split out at the same time, bit of an oddity. For Iron Man was brought over from Tales, must have been something to do with the timings of the two strips.
Yeah.
But Iron Man was brought from Tales of Suspense in the submariner from Tales to Astonish, and they were given a one-off issue.
Yeah.
Before the following month,
they get one each again. Yeah, they get their own series.
They get their own series.
Right, there we are.
They get their own series again.
Yeah.
So we're into May, cover dated May 1968. Next character.
Yeah. So we'd seen him once earlier, hadn't we?
His origin in Marvel Superheroes number 12 in 13.
Yeah.
And then May 1968 he gets his own series.
You got it. Who's the cover artist on that?
That's Gene Colan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You tell by his leg action there. Yeah.
It was never a strip I was very keen on, to be honest, Captain
No, it's
Marvel.
funny. I never read much as a kid, actually. Even now, I don't read the strip much. No.
I briefly liked the Jim Starlin era.
Oh yeah, they were
Jim
good.
Starlin
actually,
took it on for a brief period. Next one's again 2. So we've got Strange Tales now.
Yeah.
It's now split into 2 magazines. Doctor Strange is taken on the numbering.
Yeah.
With 169.
Oh, yeah.
And Shield with fabulous Steranko
jacket. Yeah, cover.
Jacket.
Beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jim Steranko wouldn't last too much longer on the strip. But some fabulous...
what he did was
fabulous,
great. Yeah, every bit of it.
Especially his covers on the first few.
Just knockout, aren't they? Yeah. Which we did cover, didn't we? A lot of them in our myself, you and George, when we did our favourite Silver Age books. Yeah. And that was I shall obviously link to that video at the end. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. That.
Yeah, Steranko featured heavily in it.
He did. Yeah, we're all such big fans.
It was a struggle not to have him
on every ever done. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It was
so good.
What covers do I like which aren't by Jim Steranko?
Just ridiculous, wasn't it? Yeah.
And of that initial wave, the next character to get his own
Surfer,
his own book was the Silver Surfer, August 1968 cover.
Yeah, great stuff.
What you do find now by the end of 1968 is that Jack Kirby's becoming disillusioned.
Right.
With Marvel, he's not feeling the recognition. He's getting the recognition he thinks he deserves. When Marvel gets taken over, Stan Lee gets a nice big fat contract.
Right.
And Jack was more or less told, be happy with what you got.
Sort of thing, right? Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So how that reflects in the comics, you see a lack of original. Yeah, you see a lack of original content and characters coming through until the early 70s when Marvel gets its next wave of characters.
Right.
So Marvel's next number 1.
Okay.
Mighty Marvel Western.
Right, yeah. This is, it's a giant, isn't it? 25
it is, yeah. The first few issues of that were giants, as was the Silver Surfer for 7 issues. I think that's all reprint.
Right.
Mighty Marvel Western. There's Jack Kirby reprints in there in kind of different Marvel Western heroes appear in them. And the next number 1, also a reprint, is Tales of Asgard. Tales of Asgard was the backup story to Thor. All right. In the Journey into Mysteries, and this is a gathering of several of those little backup. Those backup strips.
Stories, yeah.
Next number 1's from Marvel.
Oh yeah, here we are.
And they're still going. They're still going strong.
Mad about
Millie. Again, Millie the model. A spin-off from Millie the model.
Looking a bit more sort of late 60s hip now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chile.
And Chile.
Chile was a new...
Millie's red-headed rival, Chile. Okay. Millie and Chile, oh blimey, O'Reilly. Well, it's just appealing to that teen market again, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they're there to make money. They're not there to lose money. Okay, so, well, I do recognise this is Marvel Superheroes number 18. First Guardians of the Galaxy.
First Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah. I mean...
And doesn't look a lot like the movie version, does it?
No, they're different Guardians. I think I can't even tell you his name now, but this character's appeared, isn't he? He's the guy with the mohawk who whistles his arrow around. But he's not one of the Guardians, but he's in the
gang, as it were.
Until a few years ago, I mean, this was a throwaway book. Really, it's only since the success of the film that Guardians of the Galaxy have been anything.
Yeah.
So
there we are.
Gene Colan art. As I mentioned briefly, that Marvel Superheroes became a title to try out new characters and perhaps give lesser characters a shot in the spotlight. It didn't last all that long.
Right.
I think issue 21 it became all reprint.
Right.
Again.
Yeah.
But, so here we've got My Love.
Okay. Wow.
Marvel's attempt to be a bit more serious in the remote romance journey. My Love number 1 from September 1969. Anybody who likes Marvel art, I would recommend this title, My Love, and the other one, Our Love. Some fantastic, all Marvel's iconic artists are featured in there. Buscema does lots of work in there. John Romita, Gene Colan. Stranko's got a strip in the one. They're all some fantastic art in these.
Fantastic.
You might not like you might not like the stories, but you'll like the art.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
The next, look at them side by side because they sort of tie in.
And Chamber of Darkness, okay.
Terror Shadows, Chamber of Darkness, again anthology.
So
stories.
when were these then? Is this early 70s?
No, this is Terror Shadows is September 69.
Okay.
And Chamber of Darkness is October 69.
It's sort of preempting the Gothic sort of era, isn't it?
It is, DC were doing a lot, weren't they?
Witch and Hour and House of Secrets and House of Mystery, so this was the Marvel sort of equivalent.
Again, some fantastic, recommend both these titles. They're both short-lived. Terror Shadows number 1. Number 1's got a fantastic Stranko strip in it.
Is that the one where there's virtually no dialogue? It's just all the whole story's played out in the artwork. And, I know the one.
He did actually do a cover for it, but it was rejected by Stanley.
They've gone with the John Romita one.
They rejected the Stranko cover. A bit too horrific.
Was it?
Or scary, I don't know. Issue 2's got some Neil Adams in. Issue 3's Barry Smith. You get lots of all the greats. Again, all a bit like the romance stories. All the greats are
contributed.
Are in there, And again with Chamber of Darkness, you'll find lots of Barry Smith.
Right.
I think he worked on several issues of that. There's even a bit of Bernie Wrightson on the last. On the last issue. Didn't do much at Marvel.
No.
But issue 4, Chamber of Darkness, has got the Conan the Barbarian tryout.
Which isn't particularly great, is it? That story. But
So two lesser Marvel titles, highly recommended.
But got good stuff in them. Good advice.
And talking of which, the sister comic to My Love, we've got Our Love Story.
Absolutely, Another.
Again, you can see Buscema, Romita cover there. Buscema, Romita, Gene Colan, they're all working in there. Say, Stranko did a story in there.
Wow.
Not in that issue, but
in the later one.
Issue 5,
Wow. Yeah, incredible to see these. I've never seen that one before. That I can remember.
Good stuff.
You'll share every kiss,
every tear. I think somebody remarked on them recently. They're like 95% of them that the cover's got a woman in tears.
Oh really? It's just evidently sold. Rinse and repeat. That was the Marvel way, wasn't it? You know?
So we go from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Oh, blimey, okay.
With Marvel's next two number ones, November 1969, Homer the Happy Ghost and Peter the Little Pest.
That's right.
Both reprint stories.
A bit more sort of juvenile-y, younger readers ones. Yeah.
I mean, Homer, obviously a Casper knockoff.
Yeah, yeah. And this, aimed at what, the under 10s or something, the real young market. What do you think?
I don't know when. It's hard to remember that far back what your reading standards were like, weren't they? But,
I suppose.
Next.
Okay.
Again, another.
Wow. Yet another Western,
but a reprint. Another reprint.
Yeah.
Ringo Kid #1.
Wow. Okay.
We're.
He's the fastest gun alive.
January 1970. Yeah. They're again. We're. I say reprints. A Joe Manley cover reprinted.
Nice.
Al Williamson, you might remember as inker. He does some work in these strips.
Oh, really?
Reprints.
All right.
I think he became better known as an inker later on, didn't he? But like a lot of these inkers, they were quite talented artists
to begin with. Yeah.
Next number, Where Monsters Dwell.
Okay.
Mostly Kirby Ditko reprints.
Right.
In these, as we said, a lack of new material coming out, new content from Marvel. Lots of #1s, but lots of reprints
or recycling sort of stuff. Yeah.
As we'll see with the next one.
That classic, little kids.
Little kids.
Wow. And once again, that looks like it's aimed at the youngsters.
Yeah. Or wizened old men like myself who got to have every Marvel comic.
Yeah.
And then we find another monster reprint. Another monster reprint book. So we're still in 1970.
Yeah, The Brute That Walks.
Yeah. It's July 1970. Ditko Kirby reprints again of the short. And these were the backup strips in Tales to Astonish, Tales of Suspense, Strange Tales, Journey into Mystery. Just a gathering together of all
easy filler
of all those,
filler stuff. Yeah, Amazing Adventures. And Astonishing Tales. Right.
From August 1970. I mean, my calculations. August 1970, Marvel produced 5 #1s just in that 5 new strips just in that 1 month. Not all. These two are both new material.
Okay.
Kirby Inhumans. The Inhumans strip had been on the cards for quite some time.
Yeah.
Eventually appeared here as a half strip shared with Black Widow.
Yeah.
And on the other side we've got Kazar and Doctor Doom's first solo strip.
Yeah.
There was a solo issue of his in Marvel Superheroes, but this was his first solo ongoing strip.
Brilliant. And there is Kazar, flashing back all the way to Marvel Tales #1 again, or Marvel Comics #1.
Yeah, who we first saw in 1939 and previous. If you're reading the pulps, again they got some good art in here. Amazing Adventures, the Inhumans. Neil Adams took it over for a period and did a few issues. Again, you got Gene Colan on the Black Widow, few issues. Kazar, Barry Smith did issues 3 to 6. Got some Kirby on Doctor Doom. So again, there's some good art in these books. So all new material, those, unlike some of the others. The next #1
is Kazar himself.
It's Kazar again, reprints.
All right.
From his appearances in Daredevil. And the X-Men.
I see. Right. Yeah. And that's why it features. Daredevil, and another giant size one as well. Yeah.
That one's got some notoriety. It's known as the Profanity cover. If people want to pause the screen and look hard, there is apparently a swear word, a 4-letter swear word hidden in the art.
Right.
Next,
Outlaw Kid. I'll put him there, and Western Gunfighters. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So more Western reprints then.
More. The Western Gunfighters has got some new material in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So Number 4 is worth hunting down. I think it's number 4. It's got the first art Barry Smith ever did for Marvel.
All right, right.
So, chronologically, it was printed after his first X-Men 53.
All right.
But it was actually drawn prior, so it was the first work he ever produced for Marvel USA.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. So, and then Outlaw Kid, yeah. Was that new or reprint?
No, that's reprint.
That's a reprint, yeah.
Now, from seeing quite a lot of dross, we get to a classic.
Beauty. A fantastic one, yeah. One of the best of that era, Conan #1.
October 1970, Barry Smith, as he's still known.
Yeah.
Then Roy Thomas. Yeah. Apparently, Stan Lee wanted John Buscema to draw it, but they couldn't afford his rates.
Really?
So Barry Smith was nice and cheap.
Yeah.
So he did it.
He got the gig.
Yeah. Marvel had to pay licensing on the character
anyway. Yeah.
So he wanted a cheap artist. So,
well, brilliant. Well, it proved to be the right decision. Didn't
well,
it?
Some of my favourite comics, they are great. The latter Barry Windsor Smith, Conan's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they still read so well today, don't they?
Next,
Harvey. Well,
Harvey.
Don't recognise that. Harvey #1.
Again, in the same fashion as Millie the Model in Chile, and Patsy and Hedy and all the others.
Blimey.
When you go back and look at Golden Age comics into like the Atlas era, the amount of titles they did along those lines, Nelly, Tessie, Showgirls
it's endless.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Next one, short-lived spoof #1. Again, it's like in the mad tradition. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
October 1970.
Who did that cover? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know. I would say
Severin. Look.
Severin. Yeah.
Is it Mary Severin?
That'd be Mary.
Yeah. Okay.
The next, another reprint. Another Marvel reprint book.
Okay.
Fear.
Old monster reprints again.
Yeah, it did move into new material a bit later on. There was a Man Thing, if you remember Man Thing.
Yeah.
Took over the title, and then Morbius.
Right. Right.
But yeah, these early issues, they're all monster reprints. Lots of Kirby and Ditko in.
Special Marvel edition.
Special Marvel edition.
Okay.
#1, January 1971. Some people say we're into the Bronze Age now. Some people consider Conan #1 to be the start of the Bronze Age.
Certainly, yeah. I guess,
it's on the fringe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another reprint title, Thor. You can see there, Thor reprints.
Yeah.
So not much to say about that title. It became a vehicle for Sergeant Fury.
All right.
Reprints. The last 2 issues, 15 and 16, are the first Master of Kung Fu.
Oh, okay.
So they're probably the only interesting issues. And then
Cull
#1,
right?
June 1971, new material. Conan was obviously proving to be a bit of a success.
Yeah.
By now, so they brought in
Cull. Yeah.
They brought in Cull. But Ross Andrew in Wally Wood art on their bit of Wally Wood returns to Marvel. But I really like the first 12 issues of Cull. I think they're very underrated. You can pick them up for next to nothing.
Yeah, and the original stories are great. Yeah, they adapted.
Yeah, I think the art's good in there. The Severin brother and sister do the art on several of them. Say some Wally Wood in there.
All right, okay. But, another sleeper. You heard it here first.
Yeah. And last comic we're gonna
comic, okay. Marvel Spotlight. Yeah.
#1, November 1971.
Red Wolf.
So new material in that one.
Yeah.
A Native American character, first introduced in Avengers 80.
Okay.
He did get his own short-lived strip. He's appeared in the Avengers comic.
Okay.
So say another Western. These are set in the Western era, but then they move him into the modern. He started in the modern day in Avengers, and then at the end of this short-lived series, he moves into the modern modern day. Again, one of his ancestors.
Yeah.
So we've gone we've gone 10 years now since from Fantastic Four #1.
Wow.
As you go into like 72 and Marvel get a new wave of writers and artists, then I think you get a resurgence of
some new characters.
Luke Cage they become much more diverse. The characters, Tomb of Dracula, or the horror ones, Werewolf
again, like you said,
Werewolf by Night, or
the new Ghost Rider, brilliant. But that maybe for another time. But you said you brought a cool book along, or one that you want to recommend, Gary. What's that then?
I did. This is so we've looked at the history of Marvel Comics, just at the comics, more or less,
through the comics.
But if people want to know the story of Marvel, of the people and the corporations involved, I'd highly recommend this book, Sean Howe.
Okay.
Marvel Comics: The Untold Story.
Right. So it is the full story, right?
It is, from the very beginning. Martin Goodman setting up his publishing company, as we talked about, Marvel Comics #1, all the way through. It goes a lot further than what we've discussed, but all the corporate takeovers, the rows and the acrimony, and I'll
pop a little link to that one in the description down below. Well, thank you very much, Gary. That was an incredible tour of some astonishing books, really. I mean, so much that I've never seen before, and I'm a lifelong fan, but a lot of obscure stuff there. It must have taken you a long time to get some of that.
It has, I think as you complete like the major titles, you veer off into other things, which especially nowadays, if you've got the money, you can get anything you want in the mainstream, couldn't you?
It's true.
It's the thrill of the hunt is with the internet. The thrill of the hunt is
not quite the same.
It's gone, hasn't it?
So not quite the same. Oh, but well, thank you for bringing them around anyway. It's absolutely brilliant to see them. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that one at home. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage comic book content. And we shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.